Ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Better than ever, because we are always getting better.
Always getting better, like Jason always says, man. We've been improving, we've been growing, we've been we just been all over the place.
We're trying to get to where we're trying to go.
We're trying to just reach our goals and try to be great.
Yeah, and I hope everybody's enjoying us. So, we're gonna start off with our shout outs. So, Vic.
Our shout out of the week is a very talented person. I've met her numerous times. She's great. She's a beast. She does photography. Her photography skills are through the roof. If you want a creative photo shoot, please hit up my homegirl Jenna. She is a beast. I'm telling you, if you want creativity in a photo shoot, just hit her up. She knows how to get the angles right. She knows how to do everything smooth. If you want to, I'm telling you, if you want even professional pictures, she'll take your LinkedIn pictures, make it look real official. You'll get any fucking job with her pics. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, Vic put me onto her work on her Instagram. It's at Jenna Mac. It's JANNAMACH _. I'm gonna link it in the description anyway.
You're gonna put all that good stuff in our description or whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
check out her work on her Instagram. It looks good.
I'm telling you, she is talented. She's an upcoming photographer. Yeah, she is nothing but a beast. Please get in contact with her and get your pictures rolling.
Yeah, she's been doing photography for a long time now, and her motto is "Be visional, be you." So hit her up.
Hit her up, please. Now let's dive into it. Oh man. This episode, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. I can't even hold it back. I'm cheesing. This is going to be an amazing episode. This is our time for the first. It's our first time we're doing it. It's going to be a very special one. Yeah, I hope you guys are ready for it.
Yeah, we're doing our first podcast with two guests.
But not just any guests. Some of the most influential people I've ever met in my life.
Yes, sir. They are very influential. They're going to do great things in their lives, bro.
They are doing great things in their lives.
All right, that's true. They already are. They're already making moves. They're already getting on the big stage,
They're hopping on greatness that we always talk about. But this podcast is special for a particular reason. Jason, get into the fucking reason, bro.
Honestly, I think we should just let them talk.
Oh, yeah, let them
find out
talk,
themselves.
Bro. So, ladies and gentlemen,
welcome,
boys and
guests.
girls, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
What's up, everybody?
Yo! Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're having our first women on the podcast.
This is historic. This is amazing. This is greatness at its finest.
No bullshit. I'm sweating right now, man.
Yo, me too, no bull. I'm not gonna lie. Yo. All right, but let me calm down. Let me introduce these women properly. So, let me introduce, first and foremost, Roxana.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
She is an amazing friend. I've known her since I was probably like 9-10 years old. She's been a friend ever since. She's been one of my bestest friends. She's a fucking beast, and I'm so glad that she's on the podcast. Gabby is a fucking other beast. We me and her are great friends, and she's such an amazing person. And I'm telling you, both of these women are a force, and they're about to fucking. This conversation's about to be a force, and it's gonna be crazy. And just I'm telling you, listen and just enjoy what is to come. Yo, it's gonna be fun. We're just gonna, ladies and gentlemen,
we're gonna dive into mad different.
We're gonna dive into a whole bunch of shit. There's a whole bunch of stuff we want to talk about. A whole bunch of stuff we're gonna dive into.
I'm so excited. I don't even know if we're gonna have enough time to freaking talk about what the hell I want to talk about, bro.
I know it's just gonna be fucking crazy. So Jason, bro, I gotta ask this question every single week.
What's up?
How's you guys' week?
Oh, my week, I don't got nothing important to say, bro. I guess I got to set up our mics in a different place this time, which was actually pretty cool. Because, it's different, bro. It's a whole different aspect right here. I'm actually looking at who I'm talking to instead of just being like, hey, what's up, Vic? Oh, yeah. How's your week?
How is our week?
What a crazy week it's been. This week, what a crazy week it's been. I just swore an oath today as a senator for the class of 2021 at my school.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, look at her doing big ass moves. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So for the beginning of the week was voting. So I had to like campaign, and then the week before that, I had to like get the signatures, do everything. So it's been 2 crazy weeks, but we got what we wanted, and now we're off to a good semester.
So what does that mean? What does that mean that you?
So now basically I'm like a representative for my class, and I can bring up issues to I have a bigger voice and I have a vote. So one of the biggest things that the SGA did last year was they took a vote on arming the Suffolk University Police Department.
Okay.
So we have a big impact on our campus.
Were they not armed before?
No, they're not, and they're not yet. So the vote, yes, passed, but now it goes into the board of the university, and they make a decision. So it's kind of like what we are the voice of the students.
Okay.
So now the university knows that the students want this, and now they take it into consideration.
Oh, you guys wanted the armed.
Well, I personally don't think we need to arm them, but the majority was,
The majority vote was yes?
Exactly.
Okay, and that's
democracy.
obviously
exactly
safety reasons and things like that. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So the main reason is because if the argument is that with being armed, they can protect us and themselves better.
Okay.
Especially our university is not a closed campus; it's like buildings all around Boston. So it's crazy things happen in Boston.
Yeah, of course.
So especially at night. So yeah, they think they would be able to do their job better if they were armed.
Okay.
Damn. That's nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have thank you. We have a big impact on our school. So it's I'm excited to be part of SGA now, and I'm looking forward to like a great year.
Big changes coming soon.
Yes.
Suffolk, big changes. Roxana, how's your week doing? How are you been?
Well, I mean, I kind of spend most of my weeks just balancing between school and work and my internship. I mean, just 3 hours ago, I guess.
Yeah.
We were stuck in traffic before this.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah. God. Anyways, sorry.
Well, before we were stuck in traffic, I was being picked up because I spent my entire Thursday at my internship. I currently intern at WGBH Boston.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Yo,
very
I'm
much.
telling you, these women are going to do, and they're doing great shit. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. Anyway, sorry. I'm just excited. I'm interrupting everybody. Let's fucking get it.
Oh, so I've been at this particular company for about, since the beginning of September, more or less.
Yeah.
And what my job is I work with a particular department called Studio 6, which is in charge of sort of travel shows and documentaries that all have to take place within the New England and Boston area.
Of course.
So what I do as an intern is that, sometimes I have to transcribe scripts that are that haven't been made yet. So I have to listen to the footage before it's released, and I have to literally type down word by word what each person's saying.
Okay.
Or sometimes, I have to, in the event that we're closing down a show for the season, sort of like a season finale or a series finale in some instances.
Okay.
I have to upload all the documents, upload all the photos, and make sure that everything is filed away so that in the event that we need it later on, we have access to it.
So there's a lot of TV shows that are going through there, or what?
It depends through which department. So it's Studio 6 is in charge of lifestyle and food and all that. So
Okay.
we have it's not a lot, but what we do have is series based. It's not typically one-off specials. It's this is an ongoing series with with this particular person. So very often we work with the same clients more or less most of the time.
Is that something you wanted to dive into, or is that something you kind of put in?
I mean, it's something we could definitely dive into later, but that is something that that's where most of my attention has been recently. So it's literally if I'm not at school, if I'm not at work, I'm at my internship. So that's kind of what I've been doing this semester.
Sounds good. Let me talk about my week. How's my week been?
No one's
Hey man. So my week was pretty good until today. Today I wake up kind of late. I'm running late. I'm running around, fucking trying to get ready or whatever. And then as I'm about to leave the house, I can't find my wallet. Ladies and gentlemen, I was mad all day. I couldn't find my wallet, whatever. And guess who had it? None other than Big Nose over here. Jason had it in his car.
Just because it's in my car doesn't mean it's my fault.
Nah, it's my
Who
fault.
left
I
it there?
by
Yeah,
accident.
for real. Who left it there?
All right. Nah, but Anyway, it was stressful. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna dive into it. I'll be bitching and crying for like 30 minutes.
For real, why'd you even bring it up, bro?
Oh,
we got two amazing people, and you're talking about your wallet, bro.
I know. So just fuck my wallet. So something I wanted to talk about, dive into with you guys was being raised and being Spanish. So we're all Spanish.
We're all Hispanic. We're all Latin.
Bro, come on, bro. They literally yelled about that yesterday.
I know, I got yelled at yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be a long day for me. Anyways, listen, because we're all Hispanic, we're all Latino, right? I wanted to just dive into how we grew up, you know, because the audience has, you know, the people have listened to how me and Jason have grown up, but it's, you know, it's different for you guys, right? Women, it's different, you know? I just want to.
Well, give an example, bro.
Oh, give an example. So, like,
I'll
for
give an
example.
All right. So, for example, I know, I don't have any sisters myself, but I know a lot of, like, females that I've grown up with, they can't go out after a certain amount, like, a certain time.
Yeah.
And I'd be out till whenever, and they'd be like, oh, it's just not fair. But I'm like, well, I'm a man, and I can protect myself.
Yeah, that's like a big, like, idea that comes around, like.
It's not even just, like, going out and stuff like that. Like, I worked at a pizzeria, and, like, one of the girls that worked there, she wanted to start delivering, but they wouldn't let her deliver at night because it's dangerous. You know, somebody's just gonna be like, "Yo, let me." You know, you got money and you're a female, like boom, there's a target right there on your back. So like stuff like that is like different between us, even though we're similar people because we grow up Hispanic.
We grow up Hispanic, but there's clearly like a difference. Like,
Yeah, I think that's a key thing because we grew up in Hispanic households, and Hispanic households tend to be very sexist.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I have an older brother, and he was definitely treated way different than I was treated. You know, he's older than me, but when, for example, the way he would be treated and given like certain permissions when he was 15, I was obviously younger, so I didn't have them. But then when I turned 15, I still didn't have them.
Okay.
So and also not even that, like the chores, I can't fucking say that
Yeah,
time.
clean
Chores,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that for sure, cause
Like my brother would, I don't know, do like mow the lawn, things
Pick
like
out the
that.
trash, the kind of stuff.
But then I had to be the one that like did the dishes and did like the more female.
Yeah,
Things.
in quotations, female.
Yeah. And, you know, we should have both learned how to do
Both things, yeah, of course.
every single thing that we had to learn.
How it should be, right?
And then, you know, eventually he started like cooking because I was obviously younger, and so he had to like cook for me or something. So he did learn these, but like I never learned how to change a tire or like mow the lawn. I never had to do these things.
Crazy.
And that's something that I think I need. Like I should be able to do it by myself.
Of course.
I think it's also because for me, I'm an older sister, and so I'm also a younger sister.
Okay.
So I have like this dual role where it's like I have to simultaneously be protected by like all the men in my family because you know all these dangers that are out there like in society that are threatening to hurt me. But at the same time, like as an older sister, I am like expected to be like to take on this like maternal role as like you know you have to protect your little brother, you have to like cook for him, you have to like do his chores, do his laundry, this and that.
Protect him in that way, like take care of him, kind of.
Yeah, that kind of thing where it's like I'm expected to be like the mother when my mother isn't home.
Yeah.
And it's difficult because then you are expected to simultaneously be like this fragile, docile creature, but it's like at the same time they want you to be like this protector at the same time, but not necessarily in the way that a guy is seen as a protector.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, it's like, what can I be? What can I not be? And it's like, can I decide that for myself as opposed to having that like thrust on me?
That's crazy. Bro, we've never dealt with that shit in our lives.
I don't get any expectations.
I'm telling you,
I
like,
have to be. I'm just whoever I am, and that's it.
Yeah, my mom was probably strict with me until I was like probably like 15, 16, and then I just started going out, bro. But she calls me like crazy, but I still did whatever the fuck I wanted to do.
No. Well, I used to have to ask across the street. Vic lived across the street, and I have to ask to go to Vic's house. I'd be like, "Yo, can I go to Vic's house?"
But we were still allowed to go.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We were fucking running around Chelsea playing manhunt and shit,
For
doing
real.
stupid shit
I'd
at
be
like 13.
biking all the way to the high school just for fun.
Yeah. Oh man.
You see, I wasn't allowed to do that. I was always like driven everywhere. I was always like, and it wasn't even like me asking, can I like, oh, my friend lives all the way across like Chelsea. Can they take me there? Like, can you guys take me there? It's always just like, you know, oh, this street, has like a lot of people hanging out on it. We don't want you to like.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
guys don't have to worry about that. Like
Mm-hmm.
you, and I get it. Our parents worry because we are society.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of crazy people out there.
Yeah, of
And we are in vulnerable positions because
Yeah.
a man, it's don't kill me, but a man is just stronger than a female.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
It's just like
It's just
and then this is
biologically,
coming
yeah.
from a female.
Yeah.
This is
of course.
coming, and I consider myself a feminist, which we can also talk about that.
I
Because I
want
know-
to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah,
because
because you're looking at me. No, but like, anyways, it's about equality. But in some sense, you could beat us up right now. It's just-
I mean, why? What?
No,
I would
no, I'm
beat you
saying-
guys up. If
I'm
I
saying like
wanted
if
to, yeah, I could.
exactly if you wanted to. So if I'm walking down the street and you want to, you could, and I
Yeah.
get that. But I think we have to look at, people shouldn't do these. People shouldn't want to.
Okay.
So it's like a bigger issue
Of course.
that we should address, and we should. It's like this thing like don't teach girls to protect themselves. Teach boys to not harm them.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Damn, that's deep.
Yeah, it is that shit.
Because I'd be walking from school to the train station, scared, looking around me because there's
Yeah.
a bunch of. Then
We were talking about that yesterday. We were just sitting in the car, and there was a girl walking by the car, and we were like, "Yo, she's probably scared." And like, we're not trying to hurt her, but like
Exactly.
we can tell just by the way she's walking, she's trying to
Yeah,
protect us.
she was.
Yeah.
She was looking around, and I was like, "Oh, Jason."
we have to be aware. Like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you have to look both four corners around you. Like you
Yeah.
have to be. I walk with the keys and in between my fingers,
That's crazy.
ready for anything.
I spent like 2 minutes trying to find my keys in my pockets, bro. That's nuts. That's nuts to me.
I saw a thing once that was like, if you ask a girl like how does she protect herself when she is out at night, and she's gonna like tell you, oh, don't listen to your music high, have your keys ready, like have 911 at the go, like if God forbid anything happens. But then the same question was posed to like a group of men, and they were like, oh, I never really think about how I protect myself at night.
True, I'm telling you.
And so it really
Wow.
it goes to show you like how from a very young age in some instances women are like taught to be afraid, whereas guys are never.
We
Not
never,
always, but, like,
we never addressed this issue of like, it's a bigger thing. If
Yeah.
we want to fix this, we want to be able to be safe.
Okay.
We want to be able to have the same, privilege in a way.
Okay.
If,
Yeah, to
like
just be
if
chilling.
Yeah.
if this wouldn't happen, my mom wouldn't care about me going out the same way she didn't care about my brother going out.
Of course.
But it's because of this, so we got to fix this so that we can enjoy the same like safety and whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, like she was saying, like it's just when you're a kid, you're always taught like, oh, you have to be careful, you have to this, that. No, we have to teach everyone to just respect other and
Yeah.
create a safe environment for everyone.
Of course. All right, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate for like a second. So like thinking about it. So like, don't you ever think like they're just trying to protect you guys, and it's just like a love thing? They like
Yeah, no, like I said, I get it, cause I have a younger sister and I have younger cousins who are female too, and I also worry, and I'm like, well, you're out this late, like be careful, let me know when. And even my friends, we have the same class. We get out at like 8:40 at night.
Okay.
I go to
Boston, that's scary.
I go to the train station. She goes to the dorm. So we're like, let me know when you get to the dorm. She's like, let me know when you make it to this. It's this thing. It's something that you constantly have to think about and be aware.
Damn, that's crazy. That fucking tension, bro.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too is I always wondered like why girls all like they all like if between a group of friends of girls they'll
Yeah,
all
like
share
at
the
clubs or something.
Yeah.
That we all go to the
location and stuff. They
Yeah.
all stay together and
I was
No,
wondering
yeah.
that, too.
at
And
clubs.
it's
We always
like-
go to
I
the
was
bathroom
always like-
together
You guys
because
do
like
go to the
Yeah,
bathroom
exactly.
together.
it's not because we want to do our makeup or anything.
Talking shit.
I mean, that's a little bit part of it. No, but it's because we are genuinely worried that the girl might not even make it back if she goes by herself.
Yeah, you hear news stories all the time about like she goes to the bathroom and then she comes out with somebody else, and it's like you never see her again or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's very often it is always a case of like it's a girl who gets taken
Yeah.
away and you never hear about her again.
That's a scary thing, cause like
That's a real fear. Like the people like the girls will go out every day and we just hope like
they just get
hope that doesn't happen to me. Like I hope I get home safe.
You should see my grandma every time I make it home. "Ah, Dios te bendiga." And I'm like, Grandma, I was at school. You know, but they worry. They worry because of, like you said, you see the news every day. It's like every day is someone else.
Yeah, and so like thing that I'm just thinking about is just like, bro, we don't like deal with that tension, bro, of like being scared, bro. Like if I ask you, yo, Jason, bro, I'm scared. I don't want to go to the bathroom by myself. You're gonna look at me and be like, what am I, your dad, bro? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, what the fuck, bro? Like why the fuck do you want me to go to the bathroom with you? And like that's bro. Like I never thought I thought just girls just go to the bathroom just to go to the bathroom together. You know.
I'm thinking of a time I've ever been scared. Like, I mean, like, there's times you
There's-
never know. Like, there's people are dangerous, can be dangerous to us too with like
Yeah.
weapons and shit. But it's not like.
No, there's
I have
always.
to
But
be
it's not
afraid.
something that's constantly,
Like, oh, it's not
constantly.
always on my mind.
Like, I
And
think-
even like you get these like, whatever, self-defense class for
Yeah.
women. Like it's something that's constantly like out there. Like know how to protect yourself, and everyone should know.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said again, it's a bigger thing.
So like I just want to dive into what the bigger thing is. What you dived into, like we have to teach, like you said
We
we have
just-
to teach guys not to act that way, right?
Yeah.
Is that the consensus?
Yeah, I don't know if you, not only guys, just people in general. I don't know if you've seen like the cliche quote, like she's someone's daughter,
Yeah.
and then they cross out and it ends up being she's someone. Like
oh, okay.
like every person is not because someone's gonna miss us, not because we're a woman, not because anything, just because we're a person. We deserve the same respect as you guys have. In the terms of like sometimes you are scared, sometimes you are like, oh, what's going on, who's this, but it's not like constantly, and it's not, since you're like a kid, they're teaching you how to protect yourself instead of teaching
Not to
us
act
Yeah.
like that.
not to just to behave.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, this, oh, boys will be boys. No, like boys will be
Human
Treated
beings.
as-
Human
yeah,
beings, yeah.
Be respectful.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole like big misconception that people have when like they think about feminism, they think about the women's movement, where it's like, you know, oh, you want to be treated better because you're a woman, or you want these privileges because you are a woman. But it's like, no, that's not the point at all. It's like the point is we want to be treated equally. We want to be treated. We want to be afforded the same, you know, just decent, basic rights as like as our male counterparts.
Alright,
You get
alright.
me?
Not to start an argument. But what happens if
Jason,
a girl punches
Jason.
me? Can I punch her back?
Yeah, that's self-defense.
But
Yo.
but all right.
It's like if I did it, I would feel
If a
bad.
girl beats the shit out of
There
you,
are
you
some
are
people
within your
that are
rights.
gonna
to-
say, my bad to interrupt you,
No,
but
no, by all
but there
means.
are some people that are gonna answer this question like, no, you can't. I think you can't because I
Yeah.
believe in equality.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're above you or you're above us.
Okay.
We're saying, you know, if I disrespect you, I lose any right.
You lose. Oh yeah. Okay.
You know, it all just boils down to like treat other people how you would like to be treated.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, you don't want somebody taking away your right, so you don't take away someone else's right. You don't want somebody to hit you.
Don't
you
hit
don't,
them. Yeah,
you don't hit
okay.
them. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
as simple
I
as
mean,
that.
it makes sense, but it's still like, if I was to punch a girl just because of like I've been grown like that, I'd just be like,
Yeah, like
I'm
if
a
I
dickhead.
if I would
Like-
punch a guy, I'd be like, oh shit. Even if she was like,
I
wailing
wouldn't
on
even be
me.
able to look at myself.
Nah,
in
you
the
know
mirror the same.
what's crazy? I play basketball. I used to play basketball. You know, not anymore. But and something that annoys me every time I would like play pickup,
Okay.
Yeah.
they wouldn't guard me.
I mean,
They wouldn't guard me, and then the other boys, if I like, I don't know, whatever, I do a layup or whatever, the other boys, bro, how'd you let her do? And you know, they start making fun of the dude.
The dude that's guarding you.
That's because and then he's like, no, I can't guard her. He's a girl. So what? You know, we're all playing, and it's a
Yeah.
thing. Look at your face. You probably wouldn't guard me either.
nah.
Nah.
What's funny is I guard. If I have a girl playing, I don't care. I'll guard you. I guard them. And I stuff the shit out of them. They'll be like, "Yo, chill, bro. Why you playing? Why you forcing it, bro? Why you send the ball 20 miles away, bro?" And
What's
I'm
funny
just
for
like-
What's funny for me is that I've done that shit. I've been like, nah, I'm not guarding her, bro. Just cause I don't know. It's just like I'm not thinking like, nah, she's like, I'm just like, no. Like,
Yeah,
And
If I was on the
there's
court,
also
bro.
this
if I was in the court, I'm throwing out. If Jason's guarding Jason, throwing elbows, punching this kid.
No, but also there's this sense of if you were to guard her, and let's say she's a better player than you, and she like scores on you, they're gonna roast you. Exactly, they're gonna.
Yeah.
She's a better player than you.
I mean, it's also like you don't wanna like if I'm guarding somebody, I'm tough on them. I'll be pushing them around all over the place and not like if I hurt you as a girl, I'm just be like, oh damn, I was
yeah,
too
I
rough.
think that's also part of like our culture. You know, going back to the Hispanic, where I remember when I was a kid, they tell us, and I'll say it in Spanish because it won't make sense. Like, oh, tú eres delicada como una flor. Like you're delicate like a flower.
Yeah.
No. You know, why teach us this?
Yeah.
Teach us to be just as, you know,
You could be as
tough
as a
or
guy,
whatever.
yeah.
So this is what we're taught, and then we teach the boys, like, oh, you have to be careful when you're playing with the girls to not hurt them. If you want to play, like, whatever, wrestling or tag or anything, be soft on the girls. So it's what do you call it? It's like subconsciously in the back of your mind, like, oh, I can't hurt her. I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Which again, you might not mean it in any bad way, but it's just something that's back there on the.
I think that's what I was trying to get at. Like earlier, I was just like, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not thinking like if I'm guarding a girl, I'm not thinking like I just play softer. I'm not thinking like she's a girl, I gotta play softer. I'm just playing, and then I'm so happy to play softer. Like I'm not like I'm playing basketball. I barely could fucking text and talk at the same time. I'm not gonna think that shit while I'm playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird, bro.
And just to for you guys, just to flip things, like, do you guys feel like as Hispanic men, like you have like a certain role that you have to fill? Because I know that, you know, girls sometimes feel like we have to be these housewives or we have to be these because that's what's expected of us. But for guys, I mean, you guys are projected to be breadwinners or this and that. Yeah. So do you feel that pressure just personally, or?
I mean, personally, I don't, because my mom didn't raise me like that. My mom raised me. She's like, be the person that you want to be. She taught me from a young age that it doesn't matter who you are. Try to be the same. You got to be equal with each other. Although my mom does play the housewife role in my house.
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
We have grown up with, like, our parents have kind of let go of these super sexist, you know.
That it's weird because my dad is still kind of like that. He's super sexist about it. My dad will be, you know, kind of the bread. He thinks of himself as the breadwinner, and he doesn't like he won't pick up sometimes I guess he'll sweep the house or something like that. But you ask him to wash the dishes, he'll laugh in your face, like just like
but
that.
he's okay with you. You know, being your own person. Like, our parents grew up like this, but they, you know, in my experience, in your experience, Jason, and then Vic, I'm pretty sure all our, because we are all, like, getting education. We're all, like, being who we want to, becoming who we want to become. So, I think, like, our generation is kind of letting go of that.
Yeah.
But again, it's still there in the back. Like, there are some things that are so deeply rooted that it's very hard to, like, let go.
I'll say just to like answer your question. Like I wasn't raised like that either. So like I always say I have 3 moms. So I was raised with my mom, and when my mom was working, my aunt like babysat us, and then my other aunt is like another mom to me. So I was raised by like women. So I always like kind of saw like the woman's point of view. So, like, I was never, like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, Ma, you gotta fucking wash my dishes. My mom would look at me and be like, yo, I'm gonna knock you out if you ask me that. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't, like, ever raised like that. I just, you know.
I mean, one of the reasons why I asked is because, like, and, like, just to tie it, like, into my own, like, personal life, just, like, I think it was, like, 2008 with, like, the whole recession and the house financial crisis and all that. Yeah. And, like, I saw, like, the effects of it on my own father and seeing how, like, oh, you know, he sees himself as like this very macho breadwinner, and then all of a sudden there's this financial crisis, and he feels like, oh, how am I supposed to, you know, I'm supposed to protect, how am I supposed to provide for my wife and my kids? So and there's like that inherent sense of my sole purpose is to be a breadwinner, and I can't do that. So where does what identity?
Like, exactly. Yeah. It's like no other identity then.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
But I think also, like, I don't know, it's it's something that's becoming, it's very common nowadays. Like the mom is kind of mom and dad.
Yeah.
A lot of single moms out there.
True.
Yeah.
And I think that also has a big impact because these kids that grow up with, with single moms, they see the struggle and they see, and these people are almost always like, they are very much respectful and kind of like think of women as equal
Yeah.
to, to males.
Yeah, I think that's my story. Like, so like something just like that's always bothered me about like difference between male and female is like for example, let's say like Jason, right? Like for example, this man gets out like 30 girls, right? We're over here, we're dapping him up. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this man is a beast, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, let's say like, I don't know, you hear like a girl's been with, I don't know, 2 dudes in like 3 months or whatever, right? It's like, what the fuck? This girl is, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is that,
here, bro? I mean, it's not equal. I mean,
watch what you say, buddy. Watch what you say.
He's like trying to word it so he doesn't get hit.
I don't want to say because like I think that you should be with whoever you want to be with, right? Like if you want to do whatever you want to do, but it's just the world that we live in is
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna get at. It doesn't matter what we think. It's about what society, how society sees it.
Yeah.
That's like kind of what we're getting at. It's like you said, they praise it if a guy does it.
Yeah.
And they, if a girl,
It's the fucking end of the
it's
world.
a
You know
completely
what I'm saying?
different story. But yeah, it comes back to this subconscious would be the word. It's always in the back of our mind.
Yeah.
It's also like always on like media too. Like you see it in movies, you see it in shows. Like it's just that whole like, those lopsided like views between men and women are just like inescapable because
Yeah, like
you literally
the
consume
double
them.
standard.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, it's everywhere. So that's why it's always in our mind. And even if you don't want to be that person that judges,
yeah.
you do it like before you can even think about it.
We dived a little bit like similar topic like when we were talking with Anthony. When Anthony was on the podcast, we were talking about how why Kendrick Lamar, for example. This man considers him a beast, right? Like Jason loves Kendrick Lamar.
Hell yeah.
Every song, every album, he'll name it. He'll win any trivia fucking thing about Kendrick, right?
I respect
but
it.
if a woman had the same bars, same lyrics, same everything as Kendrick Lamar, there was no Kendrick Lamar. There's a woman that has Kendrick Lamar, did everything Kendrick Lamar did. She wouldn't be seen. Yeah. She wouldn't be seen the same. She wouldn't be seen as a god.
But I think it's because hip hop is predominantly male. It's always been predominantly male.
No,
But
but
why
bro,
can't that change?
it doesn't explain how like someone can just rise up. Like I'm a dude, right? I rise up because my music is good and people are bumping it. But a girl like a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B has to shake her ass to get viewership, bro. It's
It comes back to like the media. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying like but why can't it change? Why can't
I'm not saying it can't change.
Why
I'm
can't
just
we-
saying
yeah.
that in the past it's been predominantly male, and it's like
And then there's reluctance to change because there's plenty of female rappers that
and a lot of them are really good.
that-
They just
yeah,
don't get
that
the
have-
respect that they should.
they don't get the recognition.
Exactly.
Like it's
people can't just let go of this idea. They keep thinking, no, but it's always been guys. Okay, but there's females now. Let's accept it.
yeah, and I think a part of the reason why like we struggle with this the equality thing that we go through is Jason. We dived into this before. Like it's the women like just start like it's basically recently just got rights, things like that. So like
Yeah.
it's a fairly new idea.
And also, I'm
So-
sorry again. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I feel like the world is just catching up. Like people that aren't raised like Jason and I, where Jason was raised by a mom that like showed him these things, and I was raised by only women. Like people that like see that they don't. It's like a newer idea to the world.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because like every right, like you mentioned rights. Every right we've had to fight for.
Yeah.
Males could vote before females could.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like going back to feminism. It's kind of that thing. Like we have not gotten things handed we have had to fight. Well, we female in the past.
Okay.
Obviously, I was just born.
Nah, we yeah.
Yeah, but like it's kind of these minority things, like
Yeah.
you know, like how like black people have had to fight for civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
Different groups of people have had to fight for, and then females are women are one of these groups that
Yeah.
we haven't been considered equal from the jump. It's something that came after males all the time.
Well, I think it's just because of who created the country. Like, who came over here and started
Yeah.
the country was white men. So that's why black people then
We're considered less.
were considered less because of who created it was white men. So then they had their housewives that were just doing their shit at the house, and they had their black people were slaves for them. So
Yeah.
they're like, yo, everybody's less than me. I'm the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just black; it was all minorities, and that's why, you know, now that we're trying to move forward, it's like we're going through the bumpy path
Exactly.
of like trying to smooth over. It's like you're ironing a shirt, and it's just like we got wrinkles.
We
gotta
got
iron it
a
out.
lot of
So
wrinkles.
We got a lot of
A lot of freaking wrinkles. It's a wrinkled ass shirt.
And I
but-
bet anything it's a woman that's ironing that shirt.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll say like like I always say this shit. Like I believe one day we'll truly like the mindset of society will shift, and it'll be what we want. What you know what I'm saying?
Hopefully.
It'll hopefully be like not hopefully. I know this for a fact because I'm very optimistic, and I truly think this world is gonna be truly perfect one day because that's how I see it going. Like that's just how I see it. But I don't know. That's just my views.
You know what I always struggle to agree with you with this.
I know
because like
man.
how you say perfect, right? But perfect is to the person. What I think is perfect is not what Gabby's gonna think is perfect. It's not what Roxana's gonna think is
Yeah.
perfect. It's not what you're gonna think is perfect.
Okay.
So how could you ever come to a perfect world when a perfect world would be where everyone was in agreement with everything that's happening?
Because the way I think it goes, right? So what Gabby was getting into, it's what you have to. It's not teaching girls how to defend themselves. It's teaching people to act right, bro. So if you start that at a young age, soon the generations will go on, and soon people will be better, bro. It's just natural, bro. Because right now we're talking about the subconscious, right? And how the subconscious, we're thinking, oh, yo, girls are like, we're not as equal to girls, right? In our subconscious because of society or whatever, right? But then if you teach that, the subconscious will change, bro. And how can that not be eventually what I call perfect, bro?
But I mean, look at history over time. It's like, obviously every generation has gotten better and better, and like just in terms of like I like acknowledging different stripes and different problems that the other groups have gone through, but that means that there's always another problem to address with each given generation. It's not a matter of just like addressing all of them at once. You know, obviously, Gen Z, I think, is becoming like the most diverse in terms of like race and sexuality and all these things, but
I honestly
there are
don't know
still
what that is.
things. There are still all these things that we haven't addressed yet that maybe we don't even realize that we have to address yet.
Because
so.
there's stuff in between that we have to address first.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask what Gen Z is? I just don't know what that is.
Generation Z is, I think it's anybody who was born in like 96 or 97 and up.
Yeah, the generation after
like
the
us?
millennials.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay,
we're
okay.
not
Us?
millennials.
We're,
yeah,
we're Gen Z? Oh,
we're Gen Z.
I didn't know that. I was like Gen Z.
For a long time, I thought I was a millennial, but then it was like, no, it's like, I think it's like 95 and up that you have to be.
Yeah, something like that. No, but going back to what Jason was saying, which I agree with you, there's not what's perfect for me could be very, very different from what's perfect for any of us, for any other person.
Yeah.
But to answer that question, I think there is like an universal like standard, that human beings deserve X and Y.
Yeah.
We cannot all agree on, because I'm gonna add certain things, you might add other different things, but these like the deviations are kind of things that are gonna matter to you. You're gonna add what matters to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add what matters to me. But there's gonna be like where we
Like a foundation.
like kind of like think of it as like a Venn diagram. You're perfect, my perfect, where they meet.
Yeah.
So it's gonna there's always like there's a universal level that we should like a threshold. Let's
It's gonna
call
plateau eventually.
Yeah.
Threshold. That's a good example right there. Yeah.
And then obviously, like you said, there's always gonna be something else that we're gonna figure out and we might not even know it now.
Yeah.
Like years from now, we
100
might be.
years from now, we might all be
100
equal
years from
because-
now, we might, based on today's issues, we might have overcome them. But the new generation grew up with these rights. The same way we're growing up with rights they didn't have before. But we're
Okay.
still finding things that we still want.
Yeah.
We might get these, and we're going to be like, oh, finally. But then the whole new generations grew up with them. And we never settle. So we're always going to want more and more and more, which is why we're always going to keep like, no, there's still things left to fight for.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'll never be convinced, like truly, because I the way I think I said it before. The way I think of like humans as a whole is like so. The way I put it is like think of the human race as one person, right? The way a person lives their life is through trial and error, essentially, right? Like a baby when they're learning how to walk, they fucking fall on their ass 30 times, and then all of a sudden they're taking their first steps, right? It's through trial and error. So think of the human race as one person, essentially, right? As like one being. We're trial and error, like you said. The shirt is being ironed, you know what I'm saying? But eventually, the shirt is gonna be fully smooth, and you're able to put it on.
It's a shirt in the messy room.
Hey.
Oh my God! Nah, so you know what I'm saying? So like, it's just so that's how I see it. I see it as like a pyramid, essentially, right? The bottom. Let me explain this. The bottom of the triangle, like your basic business format, right? The CEO's on top, but like think of it like. The problems are in the bottom, and as they keep going, and as you keep learning and going through trial and error, you're going up the pyramid. Soon, you're gonna hit the peak of greatness, bro.
Oh, why?
You feel me? That's how I envision it. That's how I see it going up. It's only we're gonna go make all these mistakes, all these trial and errors, and then we're soon gonna get there, bro. Bam. We're equal and we're perfect. Well, the word perfect, like you know,
Perfectly imperfect.
Yeah. We're gonna be just chilling, bro, hanging out. It's not gonna be like I'm not gonna look at Jason as anything different. That we're all gonna be just humans, bro.
Yeah, but again, the humans that grew up with all of these rights and equal and equality and all this, they're not gonna want to settle. They're always gonna find something else that we deserve. And like I'll say it again, we might not even know what it is yet. Because ask any like older, like my grandma, for example. Some of the liberties that we have today.
Yeah.
They think it's the craziest thing, like sexuality,
Okay.
like transgenders.
Yeah.
And some of them do understand, but any older person, they're gonna be like, no,
It's just they think it's weird.
a man
right?
is a man.
Yeah.
I think
This
that's
is something.
way more in our culture for sure, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, my family like can't even accept one of my cousins is gay, and she's not accepted in the family because of that. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
and that's
stupid.
just her being.
Herself.
Yeah, but that's just her liking the same sex. Imagine if she identified as
A male.
as a male. It would have been a completely different thing, and they might kick her out or something. But these things that we see as normal today, at some point in the past, you could have never thought they were gonna be something.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing can happen. Like
I mean, that's kind of like saying somebody back in the day would think that slavery will never go away.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
People really thought that, bro. It's crazy to think, but that's
Like-
I'm
like,
pretty sure that's a mindset that
you,
was
you
there.
like
bro.
raise somebody from the dead and be like, yo, there's no such thing as slaves anymore. They're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Slaves? Like, damn,
That
that's
has to be-
crazy that people
The
actually
same
thought
thing,
like
like,
that.
The things that went on in Germany back in the 1940s,
Yeah,
and even
the
before that,
Holocaust.
the Holocaust. That was completely normal for them. They were just doing what they thought was right.
But that was normal in Germany. To the world, that was crazy.
yeah, but kind of
genocide.
looking at it for that society.
Oh, looking at
not
yeah,
not as a whole, but like
Yeah.
their society. That was completely normal. That was completely legal. They thought it was they genuinely thought it was right.
Yeah.
They did not think they were doing the same thing here. Back when the country first started, slavery, they genuinely thought it was okay.
Yeah.
They had no trouble with it. They slept normally. No consciousness at all. It's I have
I have
these people that I treat like nothing.
Like
Because
animals.
but they weren't people though. They were considered property.
Exactly, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like these people that I considered property, that was completely normal. Now we think of it and it's like, what? How could you think of it like that?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
So I think the same way years from now we're gonna overcome the things we have right now, but there are gonna be new things that come up, and we are gonna have trouble to to see them.
That's crazy because I feel like I'm fairly I feel like me and you I'm speaking for both of us. I feel like we're pretty open people and like we're not like I don't feel like we don't ever go to we don't go through like a thing where we're like, yo, no bullshit, that person's low. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I've ever gone through that. Nah, I don't think so. Have you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
like what I'm like, I don't know, bro. I lost my train of thought, bro. I thought you were on my flow, bro.
I was thinking about something else. I was still surprised that they were probably like, yo, women voting? What?
Yeah.
Nah,
Oh,
right,
that's
women will
crazy,
never
man.
vote.
And you know what's crazy? I had this in a history class last year or something. Slaves were considered property, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were deciding who gets to vote, things like that. And there are slave owners and there are non-slave owners. And they're meeting up and they're saying, how do we want to count slaves? As one person, or as like 3/4 of a person? In terms of like however many people you have in your state,
Yeah.
that's however representatives you get, or senators. So you would think slave owners, people who treat slaves like nothing, they're gonna be like, no, they're not people, they're my property. They actually wanted to count them as people, obviously, because they would get more
votes, yeah.
Exactly. So it's not even it's ironic that
Yeah,
they
it is
would want to
ironic.
count them as people when they're not even
Considered
respecting.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fucking
you
nuts.
get what I'm.
Yo, that's crazy, bro.
And you would never think of things like that.
Like the world that we live in, like you're saying, it's like what she's saying is crazy to me. I don't know if it's as crazy to you guys as it is
Nah,
to me.
bro, my
It's
eyebrows
like
are up too.
100 years ago, I think that the people were just like insane because of what they were thinking. Somebody 100 years in the future is gonna think the same thing about me.
Bro, that's crazy, bro.
Like-
People live to be 100, so that's a person ago. Bro, that's fucking nuts, bro. Jeez, bro. A person ago, bro. We were fucking. Oh my god.
Killing off Jews,
owning people.
gay people were stupid, like all this crazy shit that they were thinking, bro.
That
It's,
is
it's like
fucking
Even
nuts.
now, even recently, I think like recently at some country, it just became legal for women to drive. I
Saudi
can't
Arabia.
recall like.
Yeah.
I think we forget that we live in the United States too.
Yeah,
and
that's
we're-
another
we're
thing.
We're still
we're
We
ahead of-
have it good.
We're ahead of
we have it
time.
Good, and we think
As
it's
bad as it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think we should acknowledge, like, as bad as things are currently in the current state of this country, we are significantly ahead compared to a lot of countries that are outside of the U.S. Not to say
Yeah.
that we don't have our own problems, obviously,
And
but
even sometimes we talk about Hispanic culture. There are even other cultures that are
Worse.
way
Yeah.
worse than ours.
That's fucking crazy, bro. Yo, I'm eyebrow raises all fucking night, bro. Jeez, bro. Wow, it's fucking nuts, bro.
And then going back into like, because I know we started this, we went a long way, but we started this talking about being raised in Hispanic households.
Yeah.
I also wanted to bring in this other like
Concept.
other
Idea.
context of you were all raised in Hispanic household here in the U.S.
Oh,
whereas
yeah.
I was raised in the country that I'm from,
That's
which
facts.
is Puerto Rico. Shout out to all my Puerto Ricans out there.
Feel me? Nah, that's definitely true. You were raised way different than us. I mean, even like the language barrier is different. You know what I'm saying?
And I know pretty good English.
Nah, your
Yeah,
English is pretty
But but yeah, there are people, and also there's kind of like a little difference because us Puerto Ricans were citizens.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different. We face different things, so we face all the cultural barriers.
Yeah.
But we will. I remember a couple months ago when like ICE was going around,
Oh, and you
and
saw
I
it
have
over
a bunch of
Instagram?
I have a bunch of friends like that are from different countries. They would like post on Snap like, "Oh, ICE is in like Chelsea right now. Everyone, be careful." Like this is something I would never have to face because obviously I'm a citizen, and we're all citizens because you guys were all born here. But like your community and your friends might face.
Yeah.
But I still face like the cultural, we're all looked at the same way.
Yeah. Even though there's like a little difference there.
Exactly. So it's also different. Like growing up here in the U.S., it's, I don't know. It's way, I wasn't born here, or I didn't grow up here, so I don't know. But like, I have a bunch of friends that were, and it's way different than like growing up in the country that you're from.
What is an example of a difference that you have?
Yeah, what's the difference in like PR compared to here?
The fact that like school, for example, this is a very, and even Puerto Rico, I don't think is the best example because Puerto Rico is a little bit Americanized. We are a territory of the United States.
Yeah.
So maybe if you ask like a Colombian that grew up in Colombia, they would have a very different answer than me. But like in the sense of like the culture. So you're Puerto Rican, you were born here, but both your parents are Puerto Rican and you grew up in a Puerto Rican household.
Oh, yeah.
But it's way different than like growing up in Puerto Rico and like, what
the Spanish is not all around me.
Exactly, the
I
language.
step in my house, it's all Spanish. Then when I stepped out, it's all English, and I'm speaking English.
Yeah, so you have kind of this identity crisis growing up. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I faced it later when I moved here to school.
I wouldn't call it a crisis.
But no, but like when you're a kid, because I have a cousin that's she's 5 now. She just started kindergarten.
Okay.
Obviously she was born in Puerto Rico, but she moved here when she was like 1. So, she's growing up here.
She doesn't have what you have.
Yeah, so she knows Spanish, but sometimes in the house, she's like, I don't want to. We tell her only Spanish in the house because we want her to learn. But sometimes she doesn't want to because she goes to school, all her friends speak English. Mm-hmm. She's learning in English. She's like, and she has like kind of this double life. So sometimes she's like, no, I want to watch like the movie in English. We're like, no, you're watching in Spanish or whatever. She's like, no.
I watched the movie in Spanish, bro. When you don't have the cable, bro.
I feel like that's a sorry, buddy.
Sorry. Nah, you have like channel 21. You're watching Lion King. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro.
I feel like that's like a common problem that like a lot of first generation people have, where it's like we don't. It's like for me, for instance, like I grew up going to a predominantly Hispanic school system. Yeah. Like literally, Chelsea is just
that's another
Chelsea's
thing.
Like 99% Hispanic. But then when I went to college for the first time, and I'll mention this briefly. I went to Worcester for a year. I went to Worcester State for a year, and literally the entire, for the most part, with the exception of my roommate who was from PR, everybody around me was white, and so I felt that culture shock. It's immediate. Yeah, you feel like you don't realize how Hispanic you are or you look until you get into an atmosphere where you're suddenly the minority.
And also, I think this is very important. The fact that you all grew up in Chelsea because it's a very Hispanic.
Dominantly Hispanic.
Yeah. And not only like, there's Puerto Ricans, there's Salvadorians, there's
Hondurans,
everywhere, from everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
So it is kind of like I wouldn't call it a bubble, but it's like a safe spot for Hispanic to come. Probably if you have family that's coming here, they're gonna come here because that's where they know people. Yeah. So we kind of like keep together, and that's a good and a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because then you're kind of like not aware of how like, and then once you get to like school or something, it's like, wait, bro, this like, is a real world.
And I had literally the people next to me, the people on the other side of me, and everybody. Like I was roommates with Nelson, the guy we had on our podcast a couple episodes ago.
Great man.
Great man. He was my roommate because I knew him and we were going to the same school. So it was me, him, and then like everybody else on the floor was white. And